Hi, good afternoon. My name is Paula, also known as PB Moreland. I am the author of the 4 books in the Whitebird series. I'm also an aquamarine water dragon. Some of you have met me before in my other videos I've posted previously. And some of you may never have met me before. So, welcome to my channel. And I was just inspired today to talk to you about a few particular things that keep coming around in my life. I just finished listening to an Alex Collier webinar Q&A, and I must say, that man, there's a grace about him, there is a level of wisdom. He's an Andromeda contactee. He's been on the circuit for 30 years or more. And I was introduced to him probably about 3 years ago through other folks in the disclosure community. And so I was just inspired to jump on the video today and share with you my thoughts about current events, about the matrix that we are all experiencing. Some refer to it as the 3D matrix. Some refer to it as the false matrix. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, there are many, including myself, who determined that the movie was basically based in fact. Many movies are. There are codes, there are secrets that are exposed in these movies. I'm not sure how or why, but Star Wars, people, the show Stargate, there are various made-for-TV movies that are based in reality. A lot of the science fiction or conspiracy theories that are posed by individuals who are basically reading off script. They don't step outside the box. They don't really understand that we live in this orchestrated matrix of a false reality where we've been living in for thousands and thousands of years, and which we are at present stepping out of. Humanity is stepping out of this false matrix. And, just tagging off on some of the things that Alex Collier, who is, again, an amazing man who has a huge following. He has gone through so many ups and downs in his life. And I don't even pretend to have his vast reservoir of knowledge, but I do resonate really highly with his teachings. And what's happening now in our current world is basically you're watching the Draconian Empire fall. The Draconian Empire, for those who are unfamiliar with the term, are a race of, let's say, reptilian beings from the Orion group. Basically took over our planet thousands, or if not a million years ago. And basically have been being energized, as a really nice way to say it, or feeding off of our energies ever since. And that's because of the corruption that our planet Gaia was hijacked into. Our planet is a sentient being. She has a consciousness. She is divine. We are living on the surface, and I say that tongue-in-cheek because there are huge worlds within the planet. And because of this hijacking that occurred thousands and thousands of years ago. Again, for those who have never heard of these stories, check out Alex Collier. Check out David Wilcock. Check out Carrie Kay. These individuals are who I listen to. I gain wisdom from. I have been on this quest of ascension since early 80s, where I was introduced to the world of the metaphysical, esoteric world by my mother, who introduced me to these seminars. And there were these, we went down to a college in southern Minnesota for weekend seminars. And I was just captivated by what I was hearing and seeing, and I felt like I had found home. And many of these teachers that were present, held the classes. You'd sign up for some classes, whether it was alien contact, whether it was chakra, whether healing, whether it was, finding all out about Atlantis and just all the sacred sites around our planet. I couldn't get enough of it. I was just enamored. But I was casual about it because I had a life that I kind of lived a dual life. I was young in my 20s, early 30s. I loved to play. I really didn't want to get serious about much. I got married and had my beautiful children. I struggled with alcohol because I was a sensitive soul, extremely sensitive. Couldn't really handle life as it was given me. But I went through recovery in 2000. And I knew that if I did not go through alcohol recovery, I would die because I was having suicidal thoughts. It was just really hard to be here in this reality as that sensitive soul. But I had two gorgeous girls and a loving husband and a loving family and my animals and my friends. And I just knew, I had many talks with myself that if I did not address the drinking, then I would die, whether it was a car accident, whether it was an overdose of drinking. And it scared me to death. Not that I would die, but what scared me was that I might take another life while driving and end up in prison. And you can't cage a bird. And so the thought of the disappointment that I would bring to my family and my children, if indeed I had killed someone by driving the car or some other form of suicide, led me to the doors of recovery, and I've never looked back. And I learned a lot about myself. And so after that, again, those memories of that spiritual life flourished once again. And so I didn't take the road that was quite as hard as some of these beautiful souls who went out into the community and held lectures and were ridiculed. They were loved by many in the truther community, in the disclosure community. But because they were labeled conspiracy theorists, which they are not, because most conspiracy theories are just labeled as that because they're true. They took the school, they had a lot of knockbacks, and I really honor them for their work. And so as we enter this new age, because we are in the age of Aquarius, brand new. Again, you can't really put a fine date on it because that's not the way it works. But the planets have lined up in particular ways. I listen to Pam Gregory as an astrologer, and she's amazing. She really helps us understand how astrology can work in our life and how it can really help orchestrate the goings on in our current world and the future, and how it can correlate with the past, because the way the planets are lined up is the same way they were lined up when our our country was created after the American Revolution. And so today it looks like the world is just falling apart. It looks like our country is going down the tubes. But I must say, I don't feel that way. I feel we're going in a real positive direction. I don't usually talk about our president because I'm not that invested in politics. But I do appreciate the work that's going on behind the scenes. I listen to others who don't listen to mainstream media. I get my information from alternative media sources. And I'm very grateful that I do, because I'm not in a panic. I'm not in a panic about anything. I'm very calm and centered. I am a voice of reason. A lot of people get very angry at me if I bring up the fact that it will be okay. We're going to be okay. Systems need to collapse because they're all corrupt. Most world leaders are corrupt. It's just the nature of the role, the corruption. The church is corrupt. Banks are corrupt. Medicine, big pharma. You can think of all the systems in our world, governments. They're corrupt because of how they began. And it has all to do with the draconian empire and the elites. I won't throw around too many words because this is YouTube and it's very sensitive. These topics are sensitive. But I look at the world today. It's April 24th, 2025. And there are a lot of people that are in panic mode. They think that our president is trying to take over as a dictator. They think he's racist. They think he is not communist, but I can't even think of the terms because they're vile. The man is not who the media says he is. Okay? I used to dislike the man. I won't use the word hate, but I listened to the media in the first election when he ran in 2016. I listened to it. I believed every word. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I was the programming. I'm not sure why, but I guess I understand now for those who are programmed to really believe that the man is corrupt. He is the opposite of corrupt. Everyone he is. Every entity, every being that is against him is the corrupt one. I fully believe that. My mind, my eyes were opened about 18 months ago. Slowly, and then I did my own research, and I started to investigate why every institution, the big money, government, and big pharma, banking, Wall Street, media, was against this one individual, one man. They're terrified of him. But America spoke, and he took office once again, 47. And I really do, I'm grateful. He will make mistakes. He's human like the rest of us, even though some say he's supernatural. However, I feel comfortable. I feel safe and protected now that we are moving into the next age. And the swamp is being drained slowly. Some say that a lot of these criminals have already been arrested. I don't know the truth on that. There's a lot of different ideas about what's really going on. But I know in my heart and I know in my soul that we're going in the correct direction, especially if you have a compassionate heart. If you don't hate, if you don't judge harshly, if you're not quick to anger, or you can be quick to anger, especially if you're being challenged but then it will diffuse quickly as you find your balance and you reset yourself. You reset to love. That doesn't mean you'll be taken advantage of. No, 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 no. The more loving I am, the stronger I feel. I can easily, I won't use the word control, but I can readily summon my inner strength if I feel challenged, especially about how I might go about my day. I have a job. I'm the boss of my gardening team out at a country club. I am doing a lot of housework right now. I have come into some very highly earned abundance. I've been living a scarcity life as an adult since my adult years. Scarcity. I had that poverty consciousness, as many people do, especially with my heritage. And I turned it around, and I just turned around because we're all manifestors, we're all creators. And I just had these affirmations. I am abundant in health, wealth, wisdom, patience, tolerance, financial. I have abundance. I am abundant. I never say I need abundance or I want abundance. I say I am abundant in health, wealth, wisdom, serenity, love, patience, kindness, compassion. And I hold true to that. And I know it's working for me. I ask the universe every morning when I awaken. I ask my higher self, how can I best serve the light today? And I stay open to all that I receive. Sure, there are challenges. There always will be, because it's the human nature, especially if you're trailblazers or you're pioneers. Those of us, I was born in the late 50s. So I know I was part of that wave that came in, especially after the detonation of that first nuclear bomb, which was felt throughout the galaxy, because nuclear power can rip through time and space. And the call went out from Gaia for a lot of starseeds to come, because it was the call of trouble. Especially, there's, I'll post some more videos of how I understand what happened after the first nuclear bomb was detonated. And it was a bomb that the Nazis created, not the Americans. The Americans fine-tuned this bomb because the Germans could only take it so far. And then it was detonated. And then there were these beings that came into our planet because of the rip in the time-space continuum. Not sure if that's the right word. I'm not an expert in all this. But there is a consequence. And right now, we're feeling the pinch of a consequence that happened as a result of that nuclear bomb. But we are moving out of that, because humans, we have been handed every type of challenge that you can imagine. This is, again, one of the things Alex Collier was referring to that really inspired me to jump on my own channel. Humans are extremely resilient. The worst of the worst can come at us with anything, and we can manage to survive through it and continue to bear children. He mentioned all the catastrophes that have befallen humanity on this planet, which are numerous, and we continue on. And we cannot be thwarted. The human spirit is undeniable. It's undeniable. So if you're watching this and listening to this, then you have that spark within you, or else you would have moved on most likely. And so I am grateful to you today for all the work that you do, the service that you have for others, because we cannot stay quiet. As I said at the beginning of this video, I am a dragon, and I'm a newly awakened dragon. I don't really appreciate when dragons are used to describe greed or wealth or gluttony or laziness, because there are some storytellers who refer to the dragons as fat and lazy and greedy and sit on their gold mountains. I know no dragons like that. I know beings like that. They're reptilian, but dragons are not reptiles. They are more amphibious in nature, and they are benevolent. There probably have been dragons in the past who've been corrupted, as anything can be corrupted, or any being, but it's a handful out of the millions, and there's dragons of all kinds. I'm a water dragon. I am an aquamarine water dragon, so I carry a blue energy with me. My little blue dragon is here that was given to me by my grandson, and I bring him all over. And I have my aquamarine dragon egg. And so I bring the dragon energy into this video because it's extremely important. You're a dragon. You have an obligation to seek the dragon within and heal the dragon wounds, because all the dragons that have been on our planet have come from other systems, and most likely they were greatly harmed or betrayed or destroyed, used, manipulated in numerous ways. And we have, if you're of the dragon lineage as I am, those scars, those traumas need to be healed in this lifetime to move forward with the freedom that we deserve. And I've done a lot of shadow work. I've done a lot of inner healing. I have found my inner child who is joyful, who loves to play with the dragons and the spirits of all kinds, and she just giggles and laughs and skips and loves to eat her ice cream. But she also is my higher self, my master self. And it took me a while to find her and really establish a relationship with her, but I have done that, and I know there's a value there. There are a lot of resources. Oh, here's my kitty Cleo. Oh, there's a lot of resources out there on the YouTube community of even the Stargate community helped me find my inner child. So I always give a nod to those groups that I have worked with in the past. My favorite of all time is Adamas Saint Germain from Crimson Circle. I've been part of Shambhala since the inception of the group, which I believe was 1993. I found them right away. It was really difficult to get channelings because they were all in print. AOL was just starting up. But I needed it so badly. I was going through a really, really dark night of the soul in the early, even though my children were I'd say mid to late 90s. Very dark night of the soul. There was just part of me that was in such pain. This was before I went through alcohol recovery. It was an AA program, and again, beautiful program, and it saved my life. But Crimson Circle and Cryon probably was the very first, with Lee Carroll, group that I latched onto with all my might, because they were talking in my language. And then I found Crimson Circle, and then there were the Abraham Papers, and Tom Kenyon with the Hathors and the sound healing, the toning. So much of my past has been filled with these beautiful, beautiful people and groups, and I'm so grateful to them, especially now when we're walking into our ascension. We are walking into our ascension where very soon, no one else knows the time. Excuse me, I have a cat here all over me. She's still here. Hello. Nobody knows when, because that's not a projected prophecy. It's kind of probably just very softly entered into. We will start regaining our memories of being in fourth and fifth dimensional beings, fourth and fifth density, if you will, which is in our DNA. But we've forgotten because of the veil of forgetfulness, and we've been manipulated, and our pineal gland has been, messed with. Some people are further along than others, but basically humanity, for those who choose to, some don't. Some might say, nope, not for me. I'm fine. Thank you very much. I don't go for that nonsense. I would rather I don't want any changes. I don't want to know more about myself. That scares me. But I will say, the more of us that go through with grace in our hearts and just open acceptance to the freedom that awaits us, those that come after, it will make it easier for them. They will start accepting the magic in the world, the magic of manifesting our reality. We're creators. As Yeshua said, we can do greater things than He. He's a way sure. So I was inspired to jump on today just because I just thought what Alex had shared was so wonderful. And I wanted to, whoever happens to watch this, even if it's just one little person, grand being, to let you know that it's going to be okay. We're doing great. Just stay compassionate. Stay grateful. Count your blessings, meaning every morning when I wake up, I ask Spirit or Universe, how can I best serve the light today? And then I think of 10 things I'm grateful for. And I can come up with them pretty easily, even if I feel a little gnarly. The ascension symptoms lately have had me really tired. I mean, really tired. And so sometimes I'm not feeling great, which is fine. I'm human. I don't have to be happy all the time. Love and light, love and light. No. But I do, if I start, I stop and I reset if I feel distracted by some sort of negative thoughts or situation going on. Because again, I'm challenged a lot. Things happen. It's just, I had a tree that I bought, a little lilac tree. And it was sitting in its pot for like a week before I planted it. I planted it, let's say 3 days ago. And it had all these beautiful buds on it. It was a little quirky looking. It's only $20. And I planted it and it was so happy. The next morning I woke up and I went out to water it and I'm like, oh no. I think a deer had come by and eaten every single leaf off of that tree. What? But did I let it get me down? Did I have a fit? For a few seconds I had a fit because it was so stupid. But I got my repels all spray and I sprayed the tree. And then I had a cage that I'd had around another tree all winter. And I dragged it out of the back of the garage and stuck it around the tree. And then sprayed everything else. But those things, kind of goofy stuff like that, does jab its way in. Just to see what I'll do. I think it's just testing me. It's not that big of a deal. I didn't get run over by a bus. And my grandsons are healthy. My daughters are healthy. My oldest just left for the Keys today. I have to go feed her cat right now, so I better wrap this up. And so, yeah, you're going to get tested, especially if you're a starseed and a light worker. Way sure. But you know what? Yeah, just kind of laugh it off. Ha ha ha! You can't get me down. That's what I do. So I thought I would just make this quick video, let you know out there that I so appreciate you. If you like this video, please click the like button. Subscribe to my channel, share this with others, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear about you and your day. Maybe some challenges you've come across. Maybe how you handle relationships that are a little rocky because you're waking up to the reality of what is. And when you start waking up, I promise you something. You're going to have contentious situations. It's inevitable, but it will be okay. It will be okay if you just hold to your truth and don't judge others for their difference of opinion. It's the way the world works. So play well together. Smile to those that you pass. They need your acknowledgement and your grace. I acknowledge and I share my grace with you today. In light, and we will ring the bell for the children in our world who have been abused, neglected, harmed beyond measure. The bell, it wards off demons. The bell is being brought back to the churches. The tone of the bell is magical. Children love it. Demons hate it. All my love to you. Namaste.